Okay, let's get to the real war, the war against women. Okay, that's right. Our wonderful Supreme Court is holding off on making a decision, or at least is like pushing it to like Friday night, later tonight, on whether or not they will allow people to keep using mifepristone, an abortion pill, the most common abortion pill, as a matter of fact. Very cool stuff. I love, I love living in this country. I love democracy. I love the American democratic process, where like, a psychotic, fascist, ultra-Christian, federal judge could just decide, like, yeah, I don't want anyone really to have any kind of access to this medication. Why? Because it's obscene. Have you ever taken an abortion pill? Did it work? Need some advice? Yeah, I pop it all the time, dude, just for funsies.
Court is expected to announce a decision by midnight on whether it will wade into the abortion pill battle. The decision could have a major impact on access to medication abortions nationwide, even in states where abortion is legal. Senior congressional correspondent Rachel Scott joins me now, along with ABC News legal contributor Kim Whaley for more. Rachel, I'm going to start with you. Can you tell us what's at stake? What kind of restrictions are we talking about here?
So much is at stake here, Mona, because we are talking about the abortion drug mifepristone that is used in more than half of abortions in the United States. So there is a ruling from a lower court that would severely restrict access to it, only allowing approval up to 7 weeks of pregnancy instead of 10, require 3 in-person doctor visits in order to obtain the drug, and no longer allow the pill to be available by mail. And you said it at the top of the show here, if these restrictions are put into effect, this would apply to every single state in the nation, including the 36 states where abortion is still currently legal, Mona.
And Kim, we heard Rachel say that a lot is at stake, but what are the court's options and how do you see this playing out?
The court could either continue this temporary stay that Justice Alito imposed, and that means stopping that Texas court order stopping mifepristone. That is, he could allow mifepristone access to be the same as it was for the last 23 years, or he could extend that stay and halt it all pending, or the court could, pending what we call full briefing on the merits, where everything is hashed out in briefs and there's oral argument, or he could do something.
How far are you willing to go for a Burmese puppy? There's 2 at a shelter near me. That sounds fucking incredible, but I already have a pupper that I'm locked in on.
In between, I think it's unusual that the court has taken this long to temporarily stay a decision on what to do about a stay. So given what happened in Dobbs, that they left what was an unconstitutional law under Roe versus Wade in place pending the decision on whether.
The implications of this on mifepristone is obviously pretty apparent. It's pretty damning. But this precedent would be absolutely bananas mode for the FDA. Like, just there's no reason for the FDA to make decisions ever again, because it just can be overwritten by an ideological freak that decides, no, I don't want this to happen. They can go after the fucking vaccines, basically. They will definitely go after HRT, like, for immediately. I mean, they already are going after HRT. But they could shut it off completely. And, probably birth control, other methods of contraception, like whatever they want, because the reality is none of this has anything to do with like improving people's health or anything like that. It's just purely for the purpose of a bunch of freaks exercising their undemocratic power that they have at the behest of a I guess, tiny minority that is very outspoken, that represents an important base within the Republican Party. This will help us in 2024. Remember the vote. Yeah, exactly. Liberals are like, oh, man, it's so crazy that this is happening. Also, at a time when, the court system is significantly more important than it has ever been, due to the court packing done by the Republican Party. It sure would be weird if we didn't, I don't know, it sure would be weird if like the Democrats lost a important member of the Senate Judiciary Committee, right? Like, I don't know, someone who's like 857 years old and still wants to maintain their position on the Senate Judiciary Committee. Like, I mean, that'd be odd, right? That'd be real weird if that was the case. Like, you probably should replace, if a person like that happened, you should probably replace them immediately, right? Like, if that were to happen. Who knows? So, yeah, I guess, you know, I hate to see a girl boss win. That's probably what it is. I'm, of course, referencing Dianne Feinstein. You know, you have a Senate Judiciary Committee. Use it to fucking, I don't know, address Clarence Thomas's inappropriate behavior, for example. That could be interesting to do. But of course, they're not going to do that. Why? Because the Democratic Party loves being the controlled opposition. They rarely ever exercise the power that they have. Kevin McCarthy, on the other hand, literally will go as far in the House as to, like, try to criminally charge Alvin Bragg for the crime of, like, doing his job as a Manhattan DA. You know what I mean? Like, Republicans are so fucking good at utilizing the tools that the system allows them to have to basically throw anything at the problem that they possibly can. They're very good at that. Whereas Democrats rarely ever do that. Democrats rarely ever use the political power that they have. It's very weird.
To reverse Roe versus Wade, my guess is there's some conflict on the court right now what to do about this.
They are definitely drawing it out. But Kim, what are the next steps if the court does decide to hear the case? When do you think we can get a ruling?
It could take it on an emergency basis, and it's known to have done that in this same term, that is in the next few months. That would be unusual. The alternative would be to leave it for the fall and the typical sort of timing for a big case like this. I would suspect that if the court decides to lift the stay, that is to keep in place access to the abortion drug, then it's more likely to wait until the fall. If it extends this ban that was implemented by the Texas judge, I think in that instance, we would more likely see it percolate very quickly in the court and maybe get a ruling in the next few months.
While we await that.
If they block this drug, doesn't open the door to ban sex toys and Viagra? Yeah, but if you think that like Viagra is ever getting banned in a country like the United States of America, you got to be out of your goddamn mind, brother. Let's be real. Viagra is utilized by those people in positions of power. No fucking judge is going to be like, yeah, let's do it. I mean, even if they do it, they'll get eviscerated. Let's say you have like a young or an older female Democratic judge, like a federal judge that decides to make a play towards Viagra. They would be destroyed. They would get fucking destroyed. Absolutely. They would get eviscerated. It would be a death sentence for their career. You know what I mean?
That midnight deadline, Rachel, what is the Biden administration saying about the Supreme Court potentially stepping in?
Well, they're certainly on edge, just like the rest of the nation, waiting to see which way this actually goes. But they have made it clear they are willing to fight any restrictions for as long as it takes. This is a White House that is very supportive of protecting access to abortion. But really, the crux of this argument that was made by the conservative judge back in Texas is that this drug should have never been approved by the FDA in the first place. It was approved by the FDA more than 20 years ago. This judge argued that that should not have happened. And so you have a lot of concern from Democrats, especially on Capitol Hill, who says that this just opens up the floodgates, that if you take mifepristone off of the market, something that was approved by the FDA, what other drug could possibly be next, Mona?
All right, Rachel Scott and Kimberly Whaley, thank you both for joining us.
I mean, what I've said already is just like, don't listen to them. You know what I mean? Especially if you're in a fucking blue state. I don't really care about the legality of the situation. I really do think that you should just ignore the ruling. Like, just straight up say that you're going to ignore the ruling. You know what I mean? Is that a designer shirt? It's from Pleasures. It's from Dan Flashes. Yeah, it is a designer shirt. The complicated patterns make it very expensive. Remember the falafels? No, I think you literally should just ignore it. You should absolutely ignore it. Ignore it. Ignore it. Ignore it. What are they going to do? Ignore it. Yep, rich socialist. Yeah, this is my hacking shirt. This shirt is like, I think $50 or something like that. Maybe a little bit cheaper when I got it. But you can think that it's really expensive if you want, if that makes you feel better. 2 plus 2 hacking speed, -1 Riz, yeah. No way, that thing's like 1K out the door at Dan Flashes. Yeah, I had to fight someone to get this. It is not $50, lol. Wait, what? Yeah, it's a streetwear brand. It was, what is happening? It was $50, not $150. Or I think maybe $60. It's Pleasures. It's not like, it's not that expensive. It's a streetwear brand. Shut up, Chad. It's $115. No. Even on this fucking link, it says it's $79 and it's sold out. And this is a secondary. I got it directly from Pleasures when it first dropped. And no, it was not $115 when it first dropped. I don't think. Let's see if we can find it. Why are we having this conversation? It just think it's like $7,000. Who gives a fuck? You know what I mean? Yeah, I don't care. Yeah, I have very expensive clothes. Suck my dick. How about that? Your mom likes it. Is that good? You know what I mean? I do. I have significantly more expensive clothes than this one. I don't know why this is like a point of contention. It's not. You know, that's going to, if you can no longer support me due to that, then go ahead. I don't feel the need to justify every purchase that I can have made. Is there anywhere I can see the new pup? No. Yeah, I bought this shirt when I was not caked up. Most of the clothes I wear, I've been wearing for many, many years. You can see it in old VODs. You don't buy a 1K shirt when you're broke? Yeah, first of all, people do that. Absolutely. You know, just different strokes for different folks. But secondly, no, this wasn't a 1K shirt anyway. This was like $50, like I said. My entire political perspective is flipped on its head because your shirt may or may not be over $100. Yeah. Speaking of sneakerheads in the chat, I made a new purchase. I'm becoming a bit of a sneakerhead, but I got the new Nike Ambush high tops. Shit was, I mean, I got a retail. Shit was fire. I think they're sick. I wore them yesterday. Look at this. They're dunks though, which, you know, ew for a lot of people. A lot of people don't like the dunks, but I thought that they were sick. Look at the back. The Nike swoosh goes behind the shoe. I think they're sick. I like them a lot. So that's for the sneakerheads in the chat. I got those, and then I got the I think Ambush also did Air Force One low tops, or are they low dunks? Not entirely sure. Oh yeah, no, they are. They did the Air Force One lows. But unfortunately, the white one that I purchased Literally got fucking canceled. Shouts out to Bodega for that one. Fuck you guys. The Run the Jewels one I got, didn't that just come out today? I see you like child labor. I don't just like child labor. I love child labor. Yeah, I heard the Run the Jewels ones were sick.